Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam and I'm going to be filming my March wrap-up right now. This is my March wrap-up video. I read 6 books in March, which is like kind of a lot for me for the past few months because I was in such a reading slump, so this month got me out of that. I started my channel, we're loving life. The first book I read in March, which like hallelujah, thank the Lord, was House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. Well, this is her first book in her new adult series, Crescent City. It's her first official adult release. Her other books are definitely steamy and should be considered adult, but here we are with her first adult book. Crescent City was, well, House of Earth and Blood, whatever you would like to call it, was so good. I gave this a 5 stars. I am Sarah J Maas trash, so I kind of expected to give it 5 stars. I need to reread this ASAP. So if you don't know, Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood follows Bryce, who is a half fae, half human, and so I did not know this going into the book, but I found out that it's a part of the summary, so it's not really a spoiler, but she has this group of friends, and they get brutally murdered, and obviously when that happens, you're not okay, blah blah blah. 2 years pass, a year passes, time passes. Back whenever the murders happened, they thought they put away the right guy, like the guy who did it. Time passes and the murders start to happen again. It's like the same type of murder, so they're like, it's connected, but this guy's in jail, so they must have put the wrong guy away. So Bryce is paired with this fallen angel hunt, and they kind of have to figure out this murder. And all I'm gonna say is this has the world's slowest burn relationship ever. And it is fantastic! Also, there's this other character, Rune, and he is my favorite human thing ever. There's fallen angels, there's archangels, there's vampires, there's fae, there's every type of thing under the sun in this world. 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10, would recommend. So good. The plot twists in this, though, shook. If you're not a fan of Sarah J Maas, I do think you still could potentially like it, though, because it has a lot of, like, thriller mystery elements mixed in with kind of her typical, fantasy worlds that she builds. My only complaint is there is one sort of like plot twisty confessional type thing. I'm not really spoiling anything. And I did not care for it. I was not here for that whole scene in the story, but I forgave it because everything else in this is fantastic. Next book I read, so I read House of Earth and Blood, Sarah J Maas. It then made me want to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I am so glad I did because I enjoyed this way more this time around. Perhaps because before I only read it once, and I knew what happens in A Court of Mist and Fury, and then reread this, and it's like, it was a different experience, and I totally loved it. So this is another book by Sarah J Maas. It is one of 3.5 books so far. I believe they're making more. Anyways, so if you don't know, A Court of Thorns and Roses is kind of a reimagining of Beauty and the Beast. So we have Feyre, who comes from a very poor human family. She kind of provides for them and takes care of them, and one day she's out hunting, stumbles upon this wolf, but she's like, that could be a fae. Long story short, she kills the fae, kills the wolf, who turns out to be a fae, and then ends up selling the hide, yada yada yada. The fae then one day show up to Feyre's family house and tell her that she has to come with them as kind of a debt payment for killing one of their fae. Like, friends, you know. Anyways. So she goes back with them to Prithian, the fae kind of lands where humans do not go because it's dangerous. And she lives with this court, the spring court, and Tamlin is like the head of it, and there's this friendships with Tamlin and Lucian and all these other people, and it's very interesting. And obviously, if you've seen Beauty and the Beast, things go awry and shit hits the fan. There's obviously some form of curse, if you will. Just go pick this up. It's so good. It's like a guilty pleasure read, but there's nothing to be guilty about, in my opinion. It's just good stuff. Go read this. I feel like a lot of people have already read it or heard of it. Moving on, the next book I read, I actually don't know what book I read next, but one of the books I read in March was Crown of Feathers, and this, holy mother of God, was so good. Oh my gosh. So I didn't know a lot going into the story, and I kind of want to keep that mentality for you guys. So all I'm going to tell you is there's phoenixes and animal magic, like magic dealing with animals and like communicating with them and stuff. And that is all you need to know to read this. It is so unique. It is so good. Yeah, I just really don't want to give a summary for this because I just think everyone should read it. I don't even know if I could summarize this. Just, go read it. It is like an epic fantasy world story, and I adore it. The characters are so amazing, and there's this like amazing LGBT sort of representation in it too, which is just great. And it's really nice because they don't like come out and like say it necessarily, but it's like there, and it's very obvious that it's there, and it's just, I almost think that's how it should be done sometimes, and this does a great job of that. So 12 out of 10 would recommend. This book makes me want to rate every other book I've ever read differently and not give it 5 stars. Also, the plot twist at the end, I did not see coming. You kind of see something similar coming, and then it comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? So, yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend. The next book I read was Illuminate by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. It is a first book in the Illuminate Files, which are a sci-fi series, and basically we follow 2 characters that are on 2 different ships, and both of these ships are flying away from a bigger ship. So the big ship is kind of run by this big corporation, and that corporation attacked their planet in the beginning of the book, and they then have to escape. And so the book is them, 2 characters on 2 different ships, kind of fleeing from this other ship because they're, in escape, and this ship is pursuing them. So they're basically inevitably going to get destroyed. So these 2 characters, they're kind of trying to figure it out and trying to save themselves. Well, save everyone too, as much as they can. But the people running the ships don't know that they're doing it. It's kind of like secret hacking underground stuff. And I would so recommend this book solely for the physicalness of it. The physicalness, is that a word? Yeah. So it is just such a cool, creative book as far as physical content goes. Also, the story is great, and it made me cry. It's fantastic. I would probably give the story a 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 4.5. But because the book is so creative and so interesting, just 5 stars in that regard. And the emotions this book will make you feel, wow. Also, the 2 main characters are so sassy and sarcastic, and it is so fun to read and refreshing, and just, yes. These were almost all 5 stars. So the next book I read was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, which is the 4th book in the Mortal Instruments series. I feel like everyone hopefully would know what the Mortal Instruments is. It is a urban fantasy series where we follow Clary, and she learns that she is a shadow hunter, and shadow hunters are kind of like demon hunters and protectors against all of these demons, vampires, werewolves, fae, fairies, everything ever in this. The Mortal Instruments is kind of the first series. Yeah, I don't want to spoil this without spoiling, I don't want to tell you about this without spoiling everything else. So just know, shadow hunters, demon fighting, cool stuff goes down. We have Clary, she's kind of learning to become a shadow hunter. The Mortal Instruments, It is such a dialogue-driven story. Is that a thing? I don't know. There's just so much dialogue, and I think it kind of hinders the story. So this was a 3 stars for me. 3.5, 4, 3. 4 if I'm being nice. Just the whole Mortal Instruments up until this. I can't comment on City of Lost Souls or Heavenly Fire. But they're such dialogue-driven stories. It almost feels like scripty, like she was just typing out a movie. If you read it, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but it's not bad. It's just not great, especially in comparison to her other stories in the same world. It's just, I think it has a lot to do with the character building. I could not care less about the main characters in this story. Even the side characters, I'm not like blown away. There are some that I like, there are some that I'm mediocre, like that I'm indifferent towards, and there's like a few that I love. So I would recommend the Mortal Instruments series, like, especially if you want to read more of the Shadowhunter books. You kind of have to read it almost. And then the final book that I read in March was Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, and I do not own, well, I do own this, but I don't have it here physically. I read it on audio while playing Animal Crossing, so it was a great, wholesome time. Simon, if you don't know, this book led to the film Love, Simon. It is a LGBT story where we follow Simon, who is kind of having these email conversations with this guy named Blue. Blue and him do not know each other's identities, and they're both kind of like crushing hard on each other. And Simon gets blackmailed. Someone finds out about this and is blackmailing him with these emails to try and like form a relationship with this girl that Simon is friends with. It is just so good. Definitely a 4 stars for me though, but it's just so wholesome and cute and good, and 10 out of 10 would recommend listening to it while playing Animal Crossing for just a great time. I like it more than the movie though, I will give it that. So the movie is also very good, I would recommend it. And the movie does make changes from the book, so if you've seen the movie and haven't read the book, would recommend reading the book, or vice versa. You should go read and or watch, but like definitely and, like do both. So on that note, I really want to kind of incorporate cooking somehow into this channel. So one thing in Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda that Simon and Blue love is Oreos. So I'm going to be making you guys a Oreo treat that can hopefully help you have a little indulgence, especially when I'm posting this video. Life is weird right now, and I think you need something to get you through besides books. And that is Oreo truffles that I will be making right now. Hello, so welcome to my kitchen. We are going to be making Oreo truffles in honor of Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. What you guys are gonna need for this recipe is pretty simple. You're gonna need some Oreos, a thing of cream cheese, and then a thing of like baking chocolate that you can melt down. As far as like utensils, you'll technically need a large bowl. I'm just gonna be splitting it up in 2 bowls because I just moved into my new apartment and we don't have a large mixing bowl. And then you'll need a sheet. This is just to store the truffles on whenever they're kind of getting firmed up in the refrigerator. And then you need a plastic baggie, and normally I would also use a bigger plastic baggie, but I'm not going to be using a whole package of Oreos, so the little one will do. And then okay, so my kitchen isn't like the greatest kitchen for filming in, so this is what we're working with. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off by getting your plastic bag, opening that on up, and throwing in some Oreos. Okay, we're using 17 Oreos because that's all that will fit in this plastic bag. I don't even know if 17 is gonna fit. So you're gonna wanna close her up if you can. So you're gonna take your little bag of Oreos and then whatever you're gonna use to hammer it down. And you're just gonna go to town hammering. So you really just wanna get them broken up. It doesn't have to be too broken, because we are going to be mixing it more, and you can like get in there with your hands if you want. That looks good to me. You can't really tell, but they're broken. I mean, you can tell they're not whole Oreos, but yeah, just break them up into some crumbles. Pretty plain and simple. So normally this recipe would use a whole block of cream cheese. Like I said, we're dividing it by 2, so we're gonna be using half, which I think is like 4 ounces of cream cheese. I really wish there would be like a sequel. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's that Leah off the boat, I don't know. There's like that sequel with like Leah. I don't know if I'm necessarily interested in reading it, but I just wish there was like a sequel where we could like find out if they're together or not. I'm assuming they're not, but like I want that sequel where Simon, so in the book, he at one point interacts with like some college-aged gay men at a bar. I just want to see him like get to that age, you know, where you're not like so worried about love. Yeah, on that note, I also really want a To All the Boys 4th book where we find out that her and Peter are not together, because first of all, unpopular opinion, I do not ship Laura Jean and Peter Kavinsky. That's just that. And I just really want something where we find out, you know, hey, she moved on and that's okay. Okay, sorry about my little side note on a different teen contemporary romance drama. So, back to the recipe. You're gonna take some cream cheese, put it in a bowl, preferably a larger bowl than this, but we don't have that. Pop her in for 15, we'll see what she looks like, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so she's pretty soft. If you can, I don't know if you can tell, but like I can easily like cut into it. You know, whenever you get cream cheese out for your bagel and it's like too hard and you just have to really work with it. This is super soft and super moldable, so we love that consistency. Throw our little broken up Oreos right on into the cream cheese. Hopefully they fit in this bowl. I'm beginning to realize that they probably won't, so that's fun. Like I said, use a bigger bowl. We're gonna go right in with our hands and just mix this on up. You just want the cream cheese and the Oreos to be all incorporated. Oh my god, I want to eat these Oreos so bad. I would move the camera, but like... So, I guess we can talk more about Simon. I will say, I think I liked... So I really kind of compared the book with the movie. Not kind of a lot, but just like I rated them the same. Like I think they have that same level of quality. However, the relationship with Leah I like more in the book because it doesn't seem so forced. I do enjoy what they changed about it in the movie, don't get me wrong. Like, it was just as plausible, but I like it more in the book. I just think it was more about the friendship and not so much about love, and I stand that. We stand friendship. The next step, well, I guess I can show you guys what it looks like. It looks like this. Lovely goodness. I promise it tastes amazing. The next step of the recipe isn't necessarily crucial. Just put this in the fridge for, I usually do like an hour just because normally I have a lot more time. I'm just gonna do 30 minutes just to let it set up again and not be so, you know, stick to your hand. I mean, it will still stick to your hand, but not so sticky. Okay, so what we're gonna do now with this lovely clump of Oreos and cream cheese is we're gonna form them into little balls. I'm just gonna do this with my hands again. Roll it with your hands and there you go. You'll want them to be about this size, probably like the perfect size actually. And then you're just gonna place it on your baking sheet. Okay, so the next step, well, let me show you guys. So this is what we have, just the Oreos laid out on a baking sheet. I kind of got really lazy over here. Yeah, so super easy to roll them into balls. The next step is going to be melting the chocolate, and this is super easy to do. I don't know if this is necessarily the recommended way. If any of you guys watch Bon Appetit, their YouTube channel, I am obsessed, and I wish I could be like Claire and attempt to temper this chocolate, but no. Is there a golden ticket? No. So we're gonna break into 4, putting the chocolate into a bowl, and then we're going to microwave this on 15 to 20 second intervals, just because you don't want it to burn, and we're gonna mix it on up with a spoon. So that was 15, definitely was not enough. We're bumping it up to 20. We're getting there. But yeah, definitely stir between each interval because the heat will be dispersed around and then it will melt more. So pro tip, definitely do that. Oh my god, I set it for like way too long. Ooh, oh my god, I think she's like melted. And now that the chocolate is all melted, man, the lighting in here really just sucks. But trust me, it's melted. We are just going to take our truffle balls and pop them right in, and then using your spoon, just like coat the truffle ball with the chocolate. Like so. Some will drip off the edge, it's fine. And we're just gonna plop her down onto our baking sheet and throw in the next one. And you wanna work quickly because the chocolate will reset. We've covered them all with chocolate. As you can see, these are the ones that didn't get as much covering in comparison to like these ones, but it's fine. They're all gonna be delicious. Put these guys in the fridge. These definitely need refrigerated because of the cream cheese. The perfect comfort food, the perfect food for Simon in Love, Simon. Yes, oh, so good. I'm so happy I made these. I can't wait to give my roommate them because she loves Oreos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I'm definitely gonna be making more in the future and probably more complex ones, but nothing too crazy. Thanks for watching my March wrap up. Definitely plan on making like more recipes, especially in my April wrap up, so stay tuned. I really need to get this chocolate off of me.
You make me feel good. I like it.